Hello and welcome back to a new episode where we're going to talk about how to deal with stuckness and 3 bulletproof methods to move out of stuckness. So I'm going to share them at the end, so stay with me as we're first going to dive a little bit into what does it mean to be stuck and why am I feeling this way. So I really want to dive a little bit into this as I feel like there's still a lot of people, especially if you're a cautious business owner or a creative, that you feel like, oh, this is only me who is feeling this, but this is not the case. So what does it mean to be stuck? Being stuck can mean different things for different people. It can feel you're feeling stuck in a relationship, you're feeling stuck in your business, but also like you have your big vision and you're feeling stuck on how to get there, like what to do next, what am I doing at the moment, because we get so hung up on the big idea. So there are different meanings of feeling stuck, and actually all 3 strategies can help you with moving through this stuckness. But I want to focus more on being a cautious business owner, meaning you're having a big vision. But this can also mean even you might being here right now and feeling like, how do I get there? But also like, oh, I've built my business, it's fantastic, but I still like feel stuck. Why do I feel stuck? I always wanted this and now I'm here. And why is it like not feeling so fantastic as I would have imagined it? There are different reasons for it. We are human beings, so we are always evolving, and so should our vision and mission evolve with us and our business. And actually this being in stuckness, for me it's also like you're a diamond under pressure. You're like feeling so, like being so, for me it feels like I'm surrounded by big rocks which are making me feel tense and putting pressure on me. But it's a very cheesy metaphor, but I actually really love it. Like a diamond is built under pressure. So when you're feeling this stuckness, this being under tension, like I can't move, I always think like this is like the next version of me and my vision evolving. So also letting it like slightly be in this stuckness and not trying to figure it out with my head, but just being in this feeling of stuckness and allowing it to be here. This is a huge thing, and it's not only with like being stuck, but also other uncomfortable feelings, sensations we have. Can you allow it to be here? To not be in your head and try to figure it out, but actually just letting it be and let it see what it wants to show you. And maybe it stays here for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, but can you let it be there? But I also think or know that there's a certain point where you just have to move and get out of it. There are different reasons for this. It could be that you have a belief system which keeps you stuck in this position, like, oh, I'm like the one basic one, like, oh, I'm not good enough. This is like too big for me, this vision or next step. Or I'm supposed to suffer in my relationship. There's so many different beliefs, and I just invite you to get curious about that if you feel like, oh, this stuckness is not going away. And how can like stuckness show up? It can show differently. It can feel like you're paralyzed. As for example, in a business or relationship, you're not making the next move. You're not making the brave step that is needed to move out of stuckness. But it also can be procrastinating, like you're just distracting yourself with little small things, busy tasks, instead of like moving from alignment and actually dealing with your stuckness as well. So there are different ways of how stuckness can show up for you or others. And I just want you to have this awareness that it's not always the same, but it can also be a lot of times that we try to avoid feeling stuck by keeping ourselves busy or procrastinating and like not dealing with what is actually the reality. Am I running away of feeling stuck? Or is it time to embrace the stuckness? Or is it time to make the brave step and start moving? All 3 strategies can help you to come to realization, but then also making the next move. So the first strategy, which I highly recommend, is start freely sharing by talking to someone, making a voice message, or even asking someone, hey, can you hold space for me? And can I just let my thoughts out? And maybe it's not usually it's not one time, but a lot of times. So just share like what's on my mind, what's coming up, and also writing it down, like journaling, free journaling. It's the best, like from The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. She says like do the morning pages. Every morning write 3 pages flow writing. So this really supports you to get into this flow of like letting your thoughts out and voicing it. I think like expressing and voicing it is a huge thing which is undervalued, because a lot of us think, oh, I can only speak when I figure it out. But what about if we actually voice what we're feeling and sensing, and it's like can be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. If it's 100 times you say that, or even writing it, just letting it out freely. The second strategy is about move your body. When you move your body, your mind flows, it follows. So just like if you feel like, if you're catching yourself, oh, I'm procrastinating, or I'm keeping myself busy, but I'm like in this rabbit hole, I'm like, oh, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. What should I do next? Stop it, go out, go for a walk, go for a run, go for a swim, go for a bike ride, whatever you do to make your body move. Go for a yoga class. Maybe it's like active movement, but sometimes also slower movements, also to tune into what you need. And one key high recommendation here is always have like a notepad or your phone with you where you can write down what comes up. Because for me, it can happen that I have like the biggest insights and then I don't have my phone with me to write it down. So make this a practice to write every thought down or idea you have when you're in this flow movement. Then the third bulletproof strategy is really concerning about what I said before, is when you feel like you're feeling stuck and you're like, oh, you can't get out of it, and you're feeling like in this rabbit hole, maybe there's an underlying belief which you're not even aware of, which keeps you stuck. You're repeating a pattern of being in this stuckness. There's maybe an old part of you that keeps you stuck, which is frozen in you, so it can't move. So it's bringing awareness to this part and this belief. And you do that by inquiring yourself through like, how old is this feeling? Where do I sense it in my body? How familiar is it? Like just get curious about what you're sensing in your body, but also what is like the story behind it. Really inquiring yourself, where does it come from? And just make a connection with this part of you, a compassionate connection. It's not about getting rid of that part, but actually integrating it, because maybe this part needs something from you, and that's why you're feeling stuck, because this part doesn't have this in order to move forward, in order to let go, in order to unfreeze. So I think this is a very key part if you haven't done this work before, in order to move out of it, to get curious about it, and not like, as I said before, doing busy tasks or procrastinating. Just to really get curious about what is the underlying thing that keeps me stuck. So yeah, if you feel like this resonated with you, subscribe, like, and especially share with other people if you feel like, ooh, they are feeling like, or if you sense they are being stuck. Maybe sometimes it helps to just have another share from someone else.